It is October 8th, episode 68. Hello.
Hey,
How you doing?
we're doing good. Sorry, Joe and I were excommunicado last week. I had an unexpected contractor thing happen, and Joe was in the eye of the storm. Um, but yeah, we're back. We're excited. I've got a great week of sports to recap. There was a lot of college football shakeup in news. I think we had 7 upsets, which was exciting and fun. And among other things, we have breaking news in the NFL head coaching world starting today as well. This morning that broke out. And yeah, I'm excited. And then we've got some playoff baseball that's been fun to watch. So yeah, that's been kind of where I'm at, and that's what's up with me. How's it going with you, Joe?
Doing good. Fortunately, made it out of the aftermath of Helene completely safe. For those that don't know, I was up in Asheville during Hurricane Helene. Um, I guess now at this point, 2 weeks ago. So I was stuck up there for a week. Lots of flooding and damage, and I was, just telling Ted that the whole water system is like completely busted, essentially, because in Asheville, of course, hurricanes, there's a lot of wind and rain, and those do damage. But Asheville, for those that aren't familiar with the area, it's basically like in the mountains. So there's a lot of like mudslides and just like destruction of land. So, for example, the main water distribution plant, the water line is 25 feet underground. Well, 25 feet of earth got washed away and all the pipes got destroyed in the process. So there's a lot of areas that, like, there once was a road there and it's now just like a river, and towns like completely wiped out. So a lot of destruction from, the floods and the hurricane and the storm and stuff. Fortunately, though, I was able to get out safe, and I got back to my house in upstate South Carolina with a couple of like 50-foot trees came within a couple of feet of my house, but they all managed to miss it. So I got very, very fortunate, and wasn't really impacted much personally, other than being stuck in Asheville for a week with no cell service and no internet, which you don't realize how much you appreciate that stuff until you're forced to go without it. So,
Well, can you develop without the internet?
yeah, it was really hard. Like, I didn't realize just how much, not even just for development, but just in general, like how much I like to just like pull up Google and find the answer to something. And that, not being able to do that, like, was really weird and made working really hard. And just in general, like, we were basically right when the storm hit, it took out 56 out of 57 cell towers in the area. So there was like no way, we had zero contact with the outside world. So we had no idea how bad it was, because most people in the area, knew a storm was coming, but didn't expect it to be that bad. So we had no cell service. We went to go drive out, and all of a sudden there was 16 feet of water on the main road that we normally take to drive out. And we're like, oh crap, we might be stuck here for a while. So like I said, luckily everyone's safe. So
Bento Grizz is here. He says, good to see you again, Joe. Loved your post as well. Thanks for sharing, which I liked it too. I was surprised that we heard from you, in our group chat. It's like a backstage kind of group chat that we have on the show. I was like, wow, I was surprised you were able to get enough service to even just get us a message, but I was glad to hear you were okay. And it was cool to see the pictures and just kind of like read what you had been through, not only when you were in Asheville, which, like, if you were to look up where you don't want to be, this hurricane, that was like the spot. And then to come home and have some near misses there too to deal with is never fun. So I'm glad you're okay, and thanks for sharing about it. Like you said, you had no idea how bad it was. Like a lot of us, I've never experienced a hurricane.
Yeah, this was my first as well, because I was in Massachusetts my whole life. And what's crazy is I'm moving up closer to Asheville this Friday. So that'll be fun. But
So are you saying that you're going to have a better background moving forward? Is that
yes,
okay?
yes. I'm going to have my girlfriend also help getting more plants in my background too, so we can have a.
Okay. I
Should we
didn't
roll
know
our
if we were
backgrounds?
taking an important step in the relationship or if it was a different kind of move. So
No,
that was
no,
my not so
moving
subtle big
in with
sister
her.
way of asking.
You're not moving in with her, but we'll definitely be closer.
She'll be
so,
closer.
Yeah, she'll be able
She'll help
to
me take care
be
of those
my
house plants.
plant mom for the plants. Yeah.
Yes, I love it. It's a big step. Can't wait
Yes,
to help
yeah.
you name your plant babies.
I know. I'll have a lot.
I took it. Just stay off of Pinterest. It's a rabbit hole of plants and very cool ones, none of which I can keep alive very well, as you see. But we are headed on a break as a reminder. We're going to leave you all hanging episode 68 and get some of our stuff in gear, have a nice little breather, maybe fix my houseplant situation, get our website up, and hopefully experiment a little bit with content in the meantime. Ted and I were talking before the show, and he's been talking to me since the beginning about how he's dying to get other people he can talk to about sports. So maybe we'll do something with that. Luga needs to continue to pressure me even when we're not active on Algo Hour to stay active in real life.
Workout.
Dude, look at my, I don't know.
Workout.
I got some Band-Aids on because I installed a fence for the chickens and it kicked my butt this week. So the nails are a mess. But I was lifting the fence.
Little post hole digger action. Yeah. You know that thing.
No, I didn't post hole dig.
How'd you build a fence then?
I bought the some of them were anchored into concrete and then the post sits in it.
Oh, you
and
did
drilling the concrete was no fun.
You drilled concrete?
Yeah.
Yo.
Or not a hammer drill, which was also very expensive. And then in the grassy area, I got these 36-inch stakes that are metal and you pound them in. And just pounding the 36-inch stakes into dry.
Oh, yeah.
That was a lot of work. Yeah, I'm feeling it. And then, of course, putting up the fence. So.
Dang, okay.
Yeah. I have been, I just, nothing about doing the type of yard work and stuff that I do makes me think I should film this and show my friends on the internet.
You should film everything you do and put it on the internet. That's like.
I need to get better at that. Maybe not. Maybe we need to just find a person that's better at selfies. Is there another girl in crypto that wants hosting? Can we find one? Is there another one? I challenge you.
There's only like 4 of them.
I know, and I'm so far out of my comfort zone, and I know 5 out of 5 of the other ones around, and we're all like nerdy anxious. I think Lassie would be good. Maybe we'll get Lassie.
Awesome.
I will trade you. I will babysit for you so you can host the show. We're actually close enough. We might be able to do that. We'll work it out when we get with her. So what have you been up to this week besides lifting Luga?
That's it. Well, actually, it was my boy's 2nd birthday. So they turned 2 on Thursday. And then we had a big old party.
Do you give him a card? What do you give, like, besides a party? But, like, what's...
A card? There's 2 of them. They're twins.
Yeah, there's 2.
Well, okay. Like...
But yeah, they got cards, cakes, and then just, like, a bunch of toys and stuff.
Can they read the cards, or is it more of like for when they're in the future and they're like, see, we cared even when you were small?
I mean, they're gonna go in the trash, so like.
Oh, they are. They're not going in like a shoebox.
No. We don't need to know who was nice to you when you were 2.
There's hoard, but like I see. Okay, here's my hot debate on this.
Okay.
You can throw them away, but take a picture before you throw them away.
Okay.
So they can eat up space in your iCloud forever, and your kids. I thought about this.
I have 20,000 photos on my phone.
And you don't have kids. Imagine.
I have 2 cats.
What are you taking pictures of, Ted?
Let me look.
I don't want to know.
I have nephews. I took photos of my nephews.
Okay.
Aww,
That That was like 70 of
No,
them.
all of his camera roll is real estate and like pictures of stuff
A lot
with
of
contractors.
There was a cooking with Ted that I did where I
I
made some
loved
brisket.
that.
What?
Um,
Bring back Cooking with Ted.
kind of freeballed that one because
Ooh.
didn't really have a working thermometer. Didn't find that out until it was like midnight and was putting it into the smoker. I had one that like if you open up the smoker, you can put it in. It's like kind of like what you'd use for a turkey on Thanksgiving, but that one was like iffy in and of itself. So it was a real fun experiment.
You don't
Definitely
have
was
like a
not
one
the
you
best
use
brisket.
to take your temperature?
Well, yeah.
Like under
Like
the
I
armpit,
said,
but
like
in the chicken. Yeah.
we had one,
You
but
just hold it up to it like you would your forehead. That's how you the internal.
Oh, the
temperature.
laser ones?
The one
no,
you get?
okay. So there's plenty of thermometers that I could and should get that I probably won't.
I'm
until
shocked you just don't have one. I just saw everybody had one of those.
Well, I do. Okay, I do
Or
have one.
3 of those.
I do have one. The one that I wanted to use, I turned it on and it was broken.
Ooh.
And I
You mean
replaced
it
the
needed
battery. It was
batteries?
still broken.
Okay.
And it was midnight. So I did have one for what it's worth. And then let me see here. I have bowling scores.
Oh.
I feel like talking about what's on Ted's camera roll is a little
It's
dangerous.
dangerous territory.
We're living
I have
on
a
the
burnt
edge.
pizza. I have this really great French onion soup burger that I got.
You were a bit of a foodie. Remember you did the bacon wrapped
Bates with goat cheese.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
Which are a staple for my garden parties that I never have.
You have such a nice
you
garden.
had that one, right?
I think I've done one. And yeah, I don't know. Like this is some.
Ooh. You're like a little Gordon Ramsay.
Well, I didn't make that.
Well, Ted on Algo. Wait.
I just go to places where people make them. But in any event, one extra picture of a card is not going to make or break your freaking phone storage, okay?
I love how you connect.
We live in the future where maybe not now, but like 2 or 3 years from now, your phone is going to have like a terabyte of storage.
So should people just skip the paper and send e-cards to the
because that's just trash and
Are you the type of parent that has already set up an email account for your kids so that way they can log into it in the future and they have like, oh, here's where we wrote you a letter?
That would be smarter.
That would be smart.
I'm on top of it with the ideas today.
I bet did that. I did think about when I bought NFTs. Like I have a few really early penny crayons that I bought like multiples of. And like when I bought the Mars comic books last week, I bought multiples thinking about my kids. So I'm setting them up in life with what matters. They'll have their unopened Mars comic.
Oh, wow.
You know, there'll be a Mingo there. They might not get their preferred Gmail address.
Unreal.
Okay, so I did see some cool stuff that was not related to what Todd was talking about this week. And I just thought it would be cool to look at it. My window's a little messed up from whatever the last thing we looked at was. So,
oh gosh, what did we even do last week? It's all blur.
You know what? Like for anybody who missed that episode, we totally like Regis and Kelly did up, and you missed a good one.
Am I Regis?
Like Kelly and Michael, but then Michael didn't stick around either. So like, I don't know. Maybe I'm dating.
I feel like I'm more Kelly.
I feel like, and I'm more like Michael Strahan.
You Michael Strahan?
Strahan. Yeah. No, he's a football player. That's what we got. So this was cool. It kind of blew my mind a little bit, and it brought me back to those warm, fuzzy feelings of when we could do, well, and we still can, but when vanity addresses were like a new thing, and they were like exciting that there was, you know, this thing you could run on your computer and it would find you a vanity address. Have you seen this, Joe? Of course you have. Vanity transaction IDs.
Oh.
That's right. I said it.
Oh, that's true.
Vanity transaction IDs on the blockchain.
So how is that? Is that just by like doing transaction checks? Is there a way to cancel a transaction after you've had a transaction ID?
It's instant finality.
Yeah, I don't know what you mean cancel a transaction. What is
Well, no, like
that?
I guess what I'm saying is like run the transaction over and over and over again until you get
The vanity one.
yeah, and then I'll have that one be the one that posts is what I'm saying. Maybe not
You
cancel
know,
it, but just never
I
have the
think he
transaction.
might have
I just
explained
realized I
how
was
we.
muted.
I thought you were being really quiet on the topic because I nerded out over this. Joe's
Yeah, I didn't see this, but this is really cool. To answer
I love finding
Ed's
nerdy stuff you
question,
haven't seen yet. That's like
this
on my
I
weekly
know,
bingo
I
list.
know this is awesome. Yeah, I'll definitely have to look at it. But basically, how I assume it's working. So the transaction ID, it's actually completely deterministic based on what you're doing. So you can
That's what I read.
essentially make a transaction and see what the transaction ID will be, and then only send it if it actually has the transaction ID you want. So what this is probably doing is essentially just like generating a bunch of transactions and then only sending the ones that have the vanity ID.
Yeah, that's
That was what I see, Joe. Not to say that I could take your job, but
oh,
Oh,
Ted's coming in 1 week for Algo Hour and swinging. I like it.
but that does come to a good point. Algo not put in the chat where he mined his vanity address for himself for about a month, which I never had the wherewithal to think to run it for that long. I kind of ran the ones that I've have for like 10 or 15 minutes, and if it didn't pick it up after that amount of time, I think there was one time I left it going overnight. But
I lost patience after 2.5 days and was like, I don't really need one that says IRL. So, thank God for NFTs.
mhm.
But yeah, that's what he says. Serious answer. The transaction ID is a hash of the transaction contents. If you tweak a parameter enough times, I use the lease field. Is that right? I don't know. The font is very little on what I'm reading. You can generate one with a vanity prefix. The 8 out of 9 ones took some processing time, so I targeted around 432-11234 in advance. This has been ready for a few days waiting. I don't know how we did it. It's pretty cool. And I can see like future applications for things like tax rebates and shopping rebates and like stuff like that. I don't know. I thought it was cool. Look at how cool that looks.
Wow.
Transaction algorithm. Yeah. And then a bunch of stuff. Now it's easy to spot. Okay. So that was one thing this week I saw and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to tell Joe.
Yeah, that's really cool.
The other thing that I thought was cool that I read about, and I was like, I should bookmark this because I felt like Kyle knew I needed he didn't do it just for me. Obviously, he wasn't thinking like, oh, this is going to go over IRL's head, so I need to add another comment here. But he was making a comment about how this chart was really misleading. But the reason I like that he took a step farther and was like, this is why I don't like it, because the metrics and like how they're reported and like, you know, people other than me also might want to know that. I thought it was pretty cool how he took a second and explained like why it's important and what things to look at. So it says, if you need an explanation, Git commits, which are GitHub commits, are just changes to a file in a GitHub repository. You could commit a single letter or you could commit a 12,000 line state of art decentralized governance smart contract. They'd be treated the same. So just a little food for thought.
it's not the well, so yeah, it's not the number of commits, it's the size of the commits. And I think I don't know. I mean, it's really interesting just trying to compare development protocols because everything is like what could be a very, I mean, I guess what I'm saying here is like when box storage first got released, there was a huge incentive for new commits and new, because there was all of these new technologies that you could take advantage of and you'd want to play with. Some chains, I mean, it's amazing, in my opinion, to see the amount of developmental commits that they have when there hasn't really been much news around that chain or development, I should say, for quite a while. So I think that's what's interesting to me that kind of stands up,
Well, and not to mention like that, but a lot of developers, which like I know Joe has like hobby stuff that he develops in his spare time. And then like Kyle has his love project Akita, which we're all co-founders of. He said a lot of like what he does, because he's in a private repository or something like that. Yeah. I use a self-hosted GitLab instance. I don't know, but like they practice kind of on their own. It's not out there for them to really pick up those metrics. And those are, to me, like things like what Joe's doing and what Kirby's doing are kind of like some of the more meaningful development that you would want to see. So I don't know like how developers really self-report that. But it was interesting because I see a lot of times people will attack like infographics, and I love a good infographic. I'm a sucker for one. So when people have a problem with it, I want to know why. Like, tell me what it is, what's the beef with the information. So it was cool that he was like, it's accurate, but what it's looking at doesn't show the whole picture as far as commits and how, it could be a really big important thing and maybe just a typo fix and it would still count as one thing. Made this make a lot more sense to me. So I appreciated that Kirby took the time to like break it down, just in case you need the explanation.
It's hard to create a good quality infographic that is information dense, is truthful, and can be interpreted within the attention span of like 8 seconds.
Yeah. No, it's not easy to do for sure, but I think especially when it comes to the developer metrics, we hear Jaws talk about them. Like a lot of times none of the numbers sound real to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and then they just go back and forth and say, you're not real numbers are not real. Well, you're not real numbers are, it just, so I really liked that approach that he was like, this is why I don't think this is really showing the whole scope of it was something cool that I bookmarked. And we're getting into dangerous territory with me clicking on my thing. The other thing that I was clicking around on Twitter, I would rather not do that. But the last thing I saw that I thought was noteworthy, because we like to catch up every week, was Mark. He made a comment, and I liked that he took the time to like directly be like, I hear you, which I hate hearing that. It's like so cringe, and I know he knows it. It's okay. We'll let it slide. The rest of it was good. He's impatient as everyone else, but some of the big priorities are the Coinbase Quest. I've been seeing everywhere that's like so many new wallets, so many new NFT traffic. I don't know how X is doing on their push as it relates to the Coinbase Quest, but I've heard really good things overall as far as traffic goes on that. And then give successful projects more visibility through the Solutions That Scale video series. Launch awareness campaign to attract developers and builders. Says it's coming. I don't know when. I don't have an ETA. And then the staking rewards, formerly known as node incentivization, which I keep hearing Q4 on that. But it was cool to see somebody's real thoughts that they thought about and, like they put out there, and he gave them like a very direct response with like some actionable information. So shout out, Mark, except for the we hear you part, because you didn't hear us say that we don't like hearing that. But beyond that, I thought it was really cool. I've also saw a lot of tweets lately from Silent Rhetoric. There was one in there just continuing to stay part of that community and then like doing what Joe does pretty eloquently, which is like I don't want to say play both sides, but like be active and engaged in the community and then still have your boots on the ground of the foundation, which has been very cool to see. And MJ starts soon. He's working on his home office. I need to start sending him pictures of my builds because he uploads pictures of like the home office he's building, and he's in real life builder, and I dig that. So that's what's up. I think unless anybody else had ecosystem news, I know Joe's going to tell us if there's anything happening in the dev world, and Ted's dying to catch up on sports. Did I do a good job keeping up?
I
on
think
stuff?
that was, you
Always,
nailed that
yeah.
perfectly.
I don't know, that was some noteworthy stuff. And then animated Broken Hearts launch in a couple minutes. So I didn't time Dev's Den on purpose so that I could shuffle one and then flex it during flex time. I didn't do that, but let me get you in your scene, Joe.
Sounds good.
Maybe.
All right. Hey, everyone. So I don't have a ton of huge updates for you, mainly because I've been more or less offline for like the past week or so and just starting to catch up. But some headline stuff that's going on in the developer world. So we're getting ready. So a couple of times I've talked about FNet, which is kind of this network to test network incentives. And we've been continuing to work on that and getting it ready to get more people testing staking platform that Transaction Lab is making for the ready consensus incentives. And one thing that we are currently working towards is doing our first consensus update. So basically, every time there's a new version of the software that people running on nodes can start running, what needs to happen is the network all needs to start running that new software, and everyone needs to vote that saying, hey, I want to start running this new software. And I think right now it takes about 90% of the network needs to agree that, this is what we're going to be running. And so we're doing some testing to make sure that we can do that on FNet. And we've already caught some things, some like edge cases with the new changes in this test environment. So that way, Algo Technologies, fix them and have less bugs to work out later down the road. So the purpose of FNet, which is catching bugs and testing things, is going according to plan. And hopefully we'll be able to, start promoting that a little bit more as we iron out some of those details. And additionally, we are, I think since the last time I've talked, we have a new library for the developers out there, the subscriber library in Python that is going to be released today. And this is basically going to make it so that you can subscribe to transactions and events on chain. And this will make it easier for developers to build things like explorers or to like watch the chain for specific events, like for example, doing like real-time transaction settlement, that sort of stuff. So that will be released today. And in addition to that, we have actually a new hire at the Algo Foundation working on all things AlgoKit. So he'll be joining me, and we're figuring out our strategies for what our priorities are, how we're going to get new things in the hands of developers, that sort of stuff. So we've been talking about all the sort of processes and new hire stuff and getting them up to speed, with kind of the end goal being delivering even more AlgoKit stuff for you guys, and should hopefully have some exciting new updates with AlgoKit as we start to figure out what we want to prioritize. But like I said, not a whole lot of new updates because of the fact that I was offline for so long, and my internet even now has been kind of off and on. So I think that's mostly it for today. Sorry, I didn't give you enough time to do your shuffle, but I can hand it back to you if you're ready. Oh, there you go.
I'm here, and Ted's gonna talk sports. I think I might have gotten one, but I can't see it. I'm having a hard time with AXN. I don't know, is it just me or probably? There was probably a para update I missed. I don't know. But
Oh boy.
I don't know, Luca, did you shuffle it fine? Somebody
I
shuffled
did. I
it
got a
fine, and
giraffe.
it's not me. I'm working out.
I can provide further distraction if need be.
I'm shuffling.
Oh, so much more than a distraction. Now Ted with sports.
This is the sports stuff section brought to you by yours truly. We've got a good couple weeks of football to kind of break down for you. I'm going to focus primarily on this last week. But first, our headline story is the firing of New York Jets head coach Robert Saleh after a 2-3 start to the season. This is the first head coach firing of the 2024 seasons thus far, and it comes just days after they lost to the Minnesota Vikings in London 23-17. Thankfully, at least they let him get back stateside before they fired him. Imagine leaving the guy in England. Defensive coordinator Jeff Ulbrich will step in as the interim head coach, which is seemed to have been a relief amongst Jets fans, as they were a little bit concerned that their offensive coordinator Nathaniel Hackett, Aaron Rodgers' therapist and love child, would have taken the lead. And after his stint with the Denver Broncos, they were not really satisfied with that. The Jets haven't had a winning season under Saleh, but is it to say that it's actually their fault with Aaron Rodgers tearing his Achilles last year on the fourth play? His overall record is 20-36. And while the firing is kind of interesting given the timing of things, it showed that the Jets ownership is really, truly committed to try and getting a winning season as fast as possible. In my humble opinion, I don't think that they're going to be able to get that done under Aaron Rodgers. I think anyone, especially someone that has an age starting with the number 4, coming back from an Achilles injury, is not going to be able to just step into that same level of athleticism that they once had. I'm not trying to diminish the work that he put out, and given how quickly his return was last year, he almost could have made it back for a postseason run if Zach Wilson was able to have accomplished that, which he was not. It would have been interesting, but that is beside the point. Kind of moving on to a couple other stories, we had the Texans pulling off an incredible 23-20 win against the Buffalo Bills due to some questionable head coaching ability decisions between both sides. Really, the Bills threw the ball 3 times in a row and then punted from their own end zone, and they really burned off only like 12 seconds on the clock when they could have just ran the ball out and taken the thing to overtime. But instead, they gave the Texans the ball with good field positions, and Kalami Fairbairn's 59-yard field goal gave the Strouds the win, which I thought was interesting. The Ravens edged out the Cincinnati Bengals on a 34-31 overtime thriller, with Justin Tucker being the hero with a game-winning field goal in that game. Along with that, there was just an interesting Derrick Henry is continuing to go off and prove that being one of the best running backs in the league year in and year out is worth paying him that money. He had a 51-yard rush to go and take Justin Tucker into field goal range in overtime. And this performance by the Ravens definitely overshadowed the offensive output that Joe Burrow had with a 5-touchdown performance despite the losing effort. It is tough to be a Cincinnati Bengals fan right now. They're 1-4. I think something that I would consider is just looking at the state of the rest of that division. You've got a Steelers team, which has been unexpectedly performing with Justin Fields under center, much less Russell Wilson in waiting, who he appears that like he will be ready to go for this upcoming week. Whether Mike Tomlin will make a head coach, will make a decision on that remains to be seen. But I'm not 100% sure on that one. In terms of anything else, let me see if there's anything else that I kind of missed off the top of my head. Let me pull up the rest of the scores. You had the Broncos beating the Raiders 34-18 based with the help of a Pat Surtain 100-yard pick six. And yeah, I mean, I think at a high level, you had the Jaguars finally getting a win against the Colts. The Colts have been unable to win in Jacksonville for the last 10 years, and it was Trevor Lawrence's birthday. So congratulations to Trevor Lawrence and have a nice win. The 49ers continue to struggle with Christian McCaffrey still being out for the foreseeable future. He's had apparently Achilles tendonitis on both legs. I find that interesting that he went and saw a specialist in Germany, but if it's in both legs, I just don't know what to say. And the Cowboys beat the Steelers 20-17 in a thrilling game. That was the Sunday night game. It was rain delayed by 90 minutes, which meant that it actually bled into over midnight and turned into a Monday morning game for the home Pittsburgh crowd. Unfortunately for them, the Steelers or the Cowboys and Dak Prescott led a last-minute touchdown drive to win the game. Particularly notable performances from Dak this week. He became the first quarterback to ever throw an interception in 2 consecutive days. Not in the same game, not in a game that started one day and ended the next. I'm saying, or because of fully stopped, but because of how late that game started, it bled into the next one. Moving on to the college football scene, we had a lot of thrilling upsets. We had Arkansas pulling up a massive upset against Tennessee. You had Minnesota knocking off USC. You had Texas A&M dominating Missouri, and the biggest story of the night, Vanderbilt shocking number 1 ranked Alabama just a week after they crushed Georgia in a thrilling game. They they lost in Nashville. The Vanderbilt fans stormed the field and subsequently picked up the goalposts, marched, dare I say, down Broadway. This is 3 miles, and threw the goalposts into the river. Now, fortunately, the police have managed to recover that goalpost, and hopefully will be cutting it up and selling it off to alumni in exchange for money to help being raised for a fine that the school will have to pay for allowing the kids to rush the field. I always think that's interesting. Looking ahead to this week in terms of college football, it's what, in my opinion, arguably the Super Bowl of college football. You've got great games starting at the top with South Carolina at Alabama. Hopefully they can get a redemption. You've got the Red River rivalry in Texas at Oklahoma. That's number 1 ranked Texas. You've got Penn State at USC, where that, in my opinion, I think is going to be a great bounce back game for them. You've got Stanford at Notre Dame, Cal at Pitt, Arizona at BYU, and Florida at Tennessee, Ole Miss at LSU, which is ranked 9 Ole Miss versus ranked 13 LSU. And towards the late games, you've got number 18 ranked Kansas State at Colorado, where Shadur Sanders will hope to put the Buffs into bowl contention. And in my opinion, I think they've got it. There was a big win that they had against UCF in Orlando. Despite the rain that they had in that game, it was a really quite incredible performance from them. Hopefully they can keep the momentum going, as they have arguably one of the hardest games on their schedule this week. Of course, they have Utah in later November, but we'll get to that when we get there. In terms of the MLB, we've got a really fun and exciting playoff from, kind of what we've seen so far. The Detroit Tigers are the hottest team in baseball. Despite having a very tumultuous start of the season, they have really just been on a hell of a run. For context, they had like a 1 or a 2% chance to make the playoffs near the trade deadline. They traded away some of their better players, and turned out that's what they needed. They swept the Astros in the wild card series 2-0, and now have tied the series against the Cleveland Guardians in the divisional round. On the other side of the bracket, you had the Royals shocking the Orioles, who now get to play the New York Yankees. And over in the National League, you have the Mets taking on the Phillies. That series is tied. And the Padres, who beat the Braves, taking on the Dodgers. And that series is tied. So we've got a lot of great game threes going on. Tonight we have the Phillies at the Mets, where I think the Phillies have a good chance to steal one away from New York. The Mets have had some fantastic magic the past couple games, particularly with Francisco Lindor, who I think has become one of the hottest players in baseball. And you've got the Dodgers in San Diego going up against the Padres, and I like the Dodgers in that game as well. I think it'll be really interesting to see. They lost to the Padres 10-2 after a very rowdy game in front of an LA home crowd where there were objects being thrown onto the field, harassing the outfielders, particularly Fernando Tatis Jr., and he subsequently responded with a home run into left field. So ball don't lie. And that is kind of the high level on American sports. Kind of shifting abroad over to Europe, we are having an impending international break again, as we're going to see a lot of these different teams do their CONCACAF and UEFA Nations League games. There's not really a whole lot of great games that are coming up this weekend. Kind of shifting ahead or backwards, I should say, to last weekend, we had some decent performances from teams like Arsenal, who won 3-1, Leicester City, who finally got a win against Bournemouth. You had West Ham beating Ipswich Town 4-1, and you had a surprise tie, Everton and Newcastle, where Anthony Gordon missed the penalty. And if you don't keep, if you're not keeping tabs, Anthony Gordon used to be a part of Everton. So all things considered, Everton have had kind of a sloppy start of their season. A draw against a good team like Newcastle is something that's definitely worth noting. Shifting over to the UFC, we had Alex Pereira beating, oh gosh, how do I say that name? Prochaska in the second round with a KO. That was a great fight. The other ones were a little bit less notable, but we've got a great UFC coming up. Let me see the exact date for that. I know there's one coming up soon, and I'm blanking on it. IRL, you can pull me back to you guys. That's pretty much all of the stuff that I've got. But yeah, that's your sports.
Get over here. Well, I'm going to our local college football rivalry game this year with a cousin who's flying in from overseas. I'm excited. It's going to be Michigan State. It's kind of a big deal.
That will be a lot of fun, and that's a great environment to take someone, especially if they're not from the States, like having that like exposure to just college football camaraderie.
The big house holds more people than some towns.
Yeah, I mean it's quite
nuts.
Yeah, it's quite the.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little anxious. I've been to one game before, and it's just very busy, and there's lots of people. And yes, a whole I want to say it holds 14,000 people or something ridiculous. And so they all come into town and then they all leave, and you are one of those people. And Ann Arbor is not set up for a whole town to move in and leave.
It is amazing how some of these places do it week in and week out. I mean, not just on the college level, but even some of the pro teams. I think we talked about this, Lambeau Field with the Packers, where outside of that, it's just a neighborhood, and you have property owners or homeowners, I should say, making their mortgage payments just by having people park on their lawns. So
yeah, it's same in Foxborough for Gillette.
Yeah. Well, who knew? You can get really enthusiastic, and I don't know how you remove a whole goalpost, but you could just do that and then fundraise to pay for the fines.
Well, and I found it interesting. It was only $100,000, and it was cheaper
Fine.
than the Arkansas one. And not to compare fan bases, because obviously the stadium that you have to, like, there's certain walls that you have to kind of go across, and not all stadiums are created equal. And these poor Vanderbilt fans had to there's like 2 small staircases that they had, or they had to drop like 12 feet down onto the concrete onto the field. Whereas the Arkansas stadium, there's like a giant, like the stands kind of turn into a staircase. So they were able to.
So you're saying it was easier for the people from Arkansas?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And it's really interesting because it took a while. Something else to note, the Alabama fans had completely taken over the Vanderbilt Stadium. So if you look at all these these pictures, there's these red and white fans in the back that haven't stormed the field, whereas the Vanderbilt fans, the few that were there, they went and celebrated with the football team. So it was definitely.
You always find stories that pique my interest. Yeah, and it's great to hear the Tigers are doing cool. It's great news.
Yeah.
I thought we were cursed for a minute there. All right, so Ted did a great job talking sports, but I got an animated Broken Heart, so I'm pretty excited about that.
Ooh. Flex it.
I know. Well, I don't know how to flex a GIF.
On Twitter?
I just thought I would show everyone it, but apparently it's showing you the wrong thing. So, doing great so far. Oh, shoot. I had it. Where'd it go? There are far too many windows open at any given time on my computer. I promise. All right, I guess we'll look at other people's flexes first, but I left the window open so I'd be able to show you in the window I bought it from. Where did it? Okay, I got it. We can, being the one that does the show running and producing it, it's really kind of the only perk. I get to hold everything up so that I can show you my flex. Look at these guys. They are adorable.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just saying. They're really good, guys. Really good.
They're well done. Is it all
I
pretty?
love them. I love them so much. Okay, we can get into NFT flex time. Here we are. Welcome back. Welcome to NFT Flex Time.
Hello.
Hello. What do we have today? I posted this shuffle link. I don't know if there's any left. The numbers were getting a little low, but I got my 2, so, Ooh, this is cute.
Right? I love it.
These kind of made my day.
They're really special.
I really like them. Joe, look at that thing and tell me it's not cute. It's cute.
It is very
I'm
cute.
just saying,
That's
you
like
might know where the
$9.
girlfriend on the concept of NFTs has a hole with one of these. Just saying.
This is how you do it. Although maybe don't get your girlfriend a broken heart. That might be a weird
Yeah,
message.
I don't know. That might send the wrong message, but it's so cute. Okay. Blues NFTs.algo. Before NFT flex time and before my workflow, I want to flex some of these DC for animated hearts. I have some super fire ones in my collection, but I'll flex these basic animated hearts. Shuffle happening today. Man, I don't know who doesn't want a collector like Blues over here. That was like AI could not have written a better recommendation tweet. They're cute. I don't see this one going.
What else do you need?
I like
Make
the
NFTs
shell.
cute again.
That's super cute. Even the kind of creepy one is cute.
There's a creepy one? Oh, Blues?
Yeah. For anybody looking, I'm Like, I'm not crying, I promise. Even though there's tears streaming down my face, I'm not crying. Okay.
I was wondering.
I like
'Cause I
literally cannot stop. So it used to happen to me every show, actually. If you watch early Algo hours, I cry like every show. I think it's nerves. I don't know. Today I think it's allergies, but fall is here. It's okay, guys. Okay. Sedated Goose. Gonna flex my space helmet Zerker. Not sure how he lost an eye with it on.
That's a good question.
It is a good question. Inquiring minds want to know, Yomo, if he didn't skip out for a meeting, how did the Zerker lose his eye if he had his helmet on? Must have happened in like a bar scuttle on their home planet before it was destroyed. There's lore there. I'm sure of it. Oh, no, never mind.
Comment.
Accept this comment. No comment. Which is not true. There was another comment, so it's really his. One episode from 69. Nice. He wasn't paying attention. We're taking a break. Can't let you get there right away that fast. Come on.
Whoa.
It'd be no fun. All right. Who's next? Sheba. Sheba's got a flex. I like the Victoria's Secret bag background here.
Oh, I didn't recognize that, but yeah.
Well, that's a good thing that you didn't recognize that. I feel
Classic
like
early 2000s.
Their fashion show's back this year.
Thoughts?
What?
Does the Zerker have a whale tail? Thoughts?
I mean,
does that make it like a mermaid? All right. Anyways.
All right. That is an excellent flex. Yomo, heard it's hashtag NFT flex time for today's Algo Hour Live at 1 p.m. with is AI writing everyone's tweets? I feel like the Algo fam has really upped their quality of tweet as of late.
With the emojis. I'm a big emoji guy.
At IRL Algo and more. Yep. Eyes. Let's see those Zerkers. And the Shuffles Live, you can still there was not a lot left of those either. I think we're right around 100 left last time I looked. But he's got the dollar sign. What is that? The ticker? The ticker for Algo, the hashtag, the tag, all the elements.
We're growing. Barb taught us.
Barb,
yeah. Barb taught us.
I heard that he is basically a shoo-in for the head of social media and community.
Who in the world would compete with him?
I don't know.
Like, nobody Barb's like Barb, I
feel like, yeah.
Like Moon is good, but I feel like Moon doesn't want that.
He has like a fulfilling job of inspiring and educating young minds.
Barb is trapped in a basement.
He's not busy right now with like that. So I think that would be great. Okay. I don't know what my computer's doing. Sorry. Hang on. When you hover and like things start popping up? Alarming. Okay, I feel better now. Let's see. Algalem rolls right off the tongue. I'm not nervous at all every time I say that or anything. They are officially moving to the basic server, which makes me hella happy because I don't Discord often and I'm still putting it off like the plague. And somebody said, before the show, we were talking some mad smack about somebody totally, we won't disclose it, but we said, they've been pinged a bunch of times and they haven't responded. And I was like, that could totally be me. If it's not a DM, I'm not seeing it in Discord right now. And when I get back into Discord, this is going to be one of my first stops because I like how collaborative it is. The basic server. You got quilts, you got doodles, you got a lot of people. JoJo's in there. Now Algolem is in there. I said that.
You got House of Jimbo. You got the Infinite Mice.
I know. It's cool. I love the basic vibes. Like big time. So
Oh,
this
that's
is
a
an
good hub.
automatic win. And great news. Congrats, Algo, for getting in with the basic fam. I think that's very cool. And it did. There's a shout out here for Fat Alex and Project Raven for setting up the Verify bot, which I know they do lots of people's bots. And then they've got, some JoJo Babbitt here. Who is this? House of Jimbo. I should have known that. That is a House of Jimbo.
Oof.
Gosh, I'm slacking. This is why we have you here, Luga.
This is what.
This is why. Lassie, it feels like this awesome space alien is yelling at you. He probably is. It's Tuesday. So I imagine
Victoria's
that
Secret
keeps
back
sounding.
too. You
I
what
know.
that
I
means?
like the pink and white. I like the pink and white. Happy NFT Flex Time Day. See all the flexes while you tune in with IRL and the team for Algo Hour. That is a professional freaking tweet, Lassie.
Yeah,
I need
you're
to
right.
up my
The tweets-
game.
Are we in a simulation? We're just the main characters with how these tweets are, or
I tweeted GM and a link that didn't even really work on Twitter this morning for the show.
I liked it.
I mean, are you guys running this through like a pre-tweet app that like you go blah in your phone and then it's like, here's a nicely made tweet for you? Or
No, we just took English in high school.
if anything, the high school English did not teach about emojis.
It's so important to
They
have
did. Bro, AOL Instant Messenger taught me. Okay, lived on that thing.
Yeah, all right.
My
All right,
daughter asked me if we got Chromebooks when I was in school.
Oof.
If kids got Chromebooks.
Just tell you didn't even have color TV.
We did have color TV. Thank you, Luga. I hate you.
That was
a little today.
uncalled for.
But no, we had literal desktop computers that were the size of a roll top desktop, and they were in a computer room. And
Oof.
yeah, we took word processing was a class.
With ball
Tight.
mice, keyboarding. Oof.
Word processing.
Number project.
Yeah. Let's see. Bill B. Go. And I'm still crying. It's still happening. I don't know. Can't Be the Basic Project by Algo, NFT Quilt, and Crew, Brick and Mortar Project, tons of utility and fun community, flexing this Astro Mutant by Al Gollum, and also welcoming them to the Basic Project family. Who doesn't love the kumbaya of a group Discord? I dig it. And then this one I don't think we caught last week. I think it was just late coming in. So we'll show it today, Bernard Wolf. And it's an animated Lost Bot, right? Yeah.
I like the lost spots. I like the UFO in the corner. I like the tentacles. And shout out Stein.
How do you flex a GIF?
Well, we're developing. That's what we have to figure out on the break. And then episode 69 is going to come and we're going to GIF all over the place.
Gifts.
We're just GIF all over Twitter. I mean, mine are so pretty. All right, let's check in with the chat before we let everybody go, because let's see. Everyday Algonaut was here. Bento Grizz was calling out some shots fired. I'm not sure when, but like I said, if you missed last week, it was a little spicy. I wonder how much CPU it is. Oh, there was a question here for you, Joe. I read it and then forgot about it. Let's see. Where is it? It's here. Oh, Aramid Bridge launched last week to mainnet. People can bridge from Algorand to base.
Oh, nice.
Then to Arbitrum, and then back to Algorand if they want. And the Biotech wallet supports FNet. But here's the question. Joe, is this event library going to be in TypeScript as well?
Yes, actually, it was originally in type. So the first version of the library is in TypeScript, but we haven't really been marketing much because we wanted to wait until it's in both Python and TypeScript. It is called. Okay. Make sure this is the right link. Yeah, it is on the Algorand Foundation GitHub under Algorand subscriber TS for TypeScript and AlgoKit subscriber pi for Python. And both libraries have the same functionality. So you can use it to subscribe to any kind of transaction and also subscribe to Arc28 events, which both Algorand Python and TealScript support emitting. So the TypeScript is available and you can download it from NPM.
Okay, that's cool. I love it when people ask if something's going to be available and you're like, yep, actually it already is. Somehow it makes me feel like I'm doing a great job, even though I very clearly did absolutely nothing there. I was like, all right, good job, team. For win. Yomo says it was not AI. He is an English degree. I'm an English degree, IRL.
Well, no comment.
I thought he was a person this whole time. Let's see.
You can study with Yomo's classes. He's offering how to tweet every day.
10 out of 10 educated, and Fisherman made it. Glad you showed up. All right. So I think that wraps it up. This is episode 68. You guys know what comes next. A break. That's it. We're going to get our stuff together. We're going to figure it out. I think it may be around the holidays. We'll figure something out, but we want to do some new stuff too. So Ted wants to talk smack with other people about sports who care more about what? Breaking news. Give me the alpha.
He's taking off his shirt.
Say it again, Fisherman.
I don't know. Oh.
Facial structure? Do I not look like Chris Evans? Come on now.
I see.
A jawline.
Likely better genetic diversity. I'm staying out of this one.
Yeah,
Luca has a better body. Oh, okay. Okay, I'll take it. Less likely to get arrested. Hot people get arrested. Okay.
It's like apples and oranges. You can have a really cute Ross and a really cute Luga, and they're different.
No, IRL. There is one winner. There can only be one hottest in Algo. Okay. I mean, it's already Soodle, but there can only be a number 2.
I mean, I feel like you win just for lasting longer.
Oh!
In the space, like being here and active right now.
Let's
look at those boys.
Put our clothes on.
Super uncomfortable.
What part?
I just don't know. You guys will miss me.
I think.
What's Joe gonna do without us on a Tuesday?
Putting our clothes on might be a good first step.
It might be. I hear it. You want to make people want more, and if you give them it all, then there's nothing left.
This is how we bait people into 69. Okay.
Yeah.
Episode 69.
Episode. Yeah.
It will happen eventually. But we want it to be special, right? Should be a special episode. Degens and whatnot. All right. And Ross says, okay. So they're just chewing up Luga at this point, which is cool. I support empowerment. Luga, you do you, buddy. And you can totally grow. You got like a little facial hair growing right now, don't you?
Yeah, it's just laziness. It's not like intentional.
I thought you were like proving a point to somebody that you could, in fact.
I can't grow anything here. This is still hairless, but I get the little French revolutionist,
Okay. There you go.
French revolutionist.
I don't know. That's what I think of every time I see like just a mustache and a little chin hair. I don't get anything here. It's weird. It doesn't connect.
I love how we did so if you're still watching, at the beginning of the show, we did an excellent update for the whole ecosystem. It was good. I'm not so sure what happens around our after the hour mark. Not
After 2, there's no more rules. IRL.
Yeah,
okay?
all of a sudden the shirts come flying off.
I'm here for it. I don't hate it. I'm not gonna lie. But we won't see you guys next week. Like I said, we're on a little break. If when we are on our break, you reach out, you think you want to see a new segment, we're always looking for more people to help us on the show. If you want to pop in every couple weeks, like Ted does sometimes, and do a segment, you can do that. No, but for real, we are getting some of the administrative stuff done. I really do not like. So everybody touch base with me and be my accountability partner and be like, how is that website coming? How about that additional, I can't even think straight now. You guys are you must be subscribed to enter the live chat, but it's good pretty much all the time. Thanks for watching. Reach out to me about helping. And Algo Hour will be back in a couple weeks. Sound good? Final words?
I think you wrapped it up very nicely. I think going back to saying Soodle's the most attractive person in the community is a good way to end it.
Soodles? That would be
Yeah, you haven't seen Soodles? Soodle is gorgeous.
It's not a competition, but I'm super curious now. Like,
Yeah, like he.
I know Soodles is beautiful on the inside,
Well, he's beautiful on the outside as well.
Soodle got it all. Yeah.
But yeah, that's the whole thing. Like, I went a long time without wanting to like be me in the space. I just wanted to be like just like a person, not a girl. Okay. Thanks for watching. I don't know. That's exactly it. Good job. High fives all around.